Reddit podcast.
Back out to Smart. Fakes the pass all the time. Three. Bang! Gets Williams screen. Lobs it up for Robert Williams. Shouldn't he know? Jaylen Brown. Tatum. Durant, the long reach. Tatum crossover, pull-up jumper. It's good. 50 points for Jayson Tatum.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Celtics Reddit podcast. Celtics basketball is back. The vibes are immaculate once again after a slightly non-immaculate stretch there. I'm joined by Wayne Spooney as usual. How are you, mate?
Dude, I'm doing great. Hey, sometimes a championship contender goes against a team that's, bottom half of the Eastern Conference, and that's what it looks like. God damn, that was good.
That's right. And I'm joined by Jackson wearing a beautiful jacket. Love it. How are you going, mate?
I'm very well, thanks. Yeah, I thought I'd bust it out whenever there's a 30-point win or more this season. I'll
Hell
start
yeah.
with it. It's the first one, so why not? Let's get a tradition going.
Yeah, let's hope that we see that jacket a lot this year then. And hopefully this is a sign of things to come.
Plan on never taking it off.
That's a good problem to have. Alrighty, let's dive right in. I mean, awesome game. Question I had kind of coming into this one was, how were the vibes going to be post the Udoka situation? Spoony, they looked pretty good. How did you feel watching these fellas?
Look, man, I am extremely biased for Joe Mazzulla, right? I'm also an alumni of WVU. He was here a little bit before me, but barely. He coached at Fairmont State, which is about 15 minutes south of where I am currently sitting. He's the only guy, the only assistant that survived the turnover from Brad to Udoka. And I feel like that says something about who he is as a coach, as a basketball mind, and as a person. Obviously, he's got the dark past, but sometimes that makes you a better person when you overcome that. I love what he said in interviews. And, man, the dudes just looked like they were having fun. It looked like, the end of last year when we were beating everybody by 20 points. So I don't know how else we can come away other than to say, looks like they haven't skipped a beat without Udoka, which is, I think we would all be, we're not crazy for being worried about that, right?
No, not at all. It looked to me like exactly like we picked off, where we left off from last year, particularly in the regular season, at least. His impact is going to be, this is Udoka I'm talking about, his impact is going to be on that team for a while to come. What he's done, I wouldn't dare say it's irrelevant or anything, but as far as the team plays, you can see they've taken the lessons that they needed to from Udoka, and it's carried on here. It blows my mind that Joe Mazzulla is my age. Can I just say,
right?
Oh man!
I look at myself. I've just woken up. I'm in my pajama pants watching TV, and here's a dude that was born the same year as me, coaching the Celtics. So, power to him, dude. I was pretty impressed by what I seen. Given it was just the first, game of the preseason, really.
Yeah, I mean, impossible to not like what we saw from the first game. I thought that last year's identity appears to be intact. The post-January, the post-whatever the first half of the year was last year seems to be there. Really intense defense, sharing the ball, diving on the floor, bench mob, everything that we grew accustomed to seeing in the second half of... Yeah, perfect. Yeah, everything that we grew accustomed to seeing, we got to see today, right? And I think that that's going to be key to getting off to a strong start and picking up from where they left off. I mean, I watched the Wizards and Warriors kind of preseason game yesterday.
Yeah,
the level of defensive intensity, not the same thing, dude.
Non-existent. Yeah,
No, those guys are on holiday. They're playing accordingly.
Yeah,
aren't they in Japan? Literally.
Yeah,
correct.
Sushi or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, and fair enough. They just won a championship, and if anyone's going to take the preseason kind of not seriously, the Warriors have every right to do that. But I think there's been a little chatter about other Celtics going to kind of rest on their laurels, or when we saw in the playoffs, win one, lose one. We kind of experienced that to start the year. The fact that they were flying around on defense to start the game, I think, is an incredibly good sign. I'm just realizing right now, if you guys aren't recording your local audio, please do that right now.
I got you, man.
Excellent. Because I wasn't. The band, that's for you. We're in preseason too, guys.
Experimental lineup, man.
Exactly. Exactly
It's
right.
gonna happen. It's good.
Hey, can I just say, Jackson, it's hilarious you said that, because I was just thinking that like I'm used to being older than the players now at 35.
No,
I am not. I'm not ready to be in a point in my life where I'm older than the coaches.
You could have bullied that guy. Not that you would have, but you could have, because he'd be bigger than him.
And now I'm here. I'm literally older than the coach. Not by much, but I am older than him. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. But if they keep winning games, I don't give a shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you could have been hazing him back at WVO, and you would never have known.
I'm pretty sure Joe was much cooler than me. I can assure you of that.
Yeah, just a little bit. All right, second big question. The big man battle. Noel Vonleh was the first big off the bench. Spoons, what were your impressions of Vonleh in this one?
I think I don't want to be negative after such a but I'm just don't see it with Vonleh, man. Like, he is a foul maven that has plagued his career.
Yeah.
What, he's like late 20s now. At some point you'd think like a guy's going to stop doing stupid shit when he plays basketball, but it's like he cannot help himself. He had that like dumb foul on an inbounds. He's like really quick with the screens, and he clips fouls there. And I thought we kind of got battered on the boards a little bit when he was out there at center. And it's like, one thing you want like your third or fourth center to do is at least grab some rebounds. But Vonleh has a little bit of skill. I don't know. I just don't really see it with him, unfortunately. But he's a mass guy, so I really want to see him succeed. But, maybe he grabs one of those last bench spots. But I think I'm probably going to be a little lower on Vonleh than others.
Yeah. You just feel like there's so much more upside to Kabengele. And given what we saw today, I would probably have him ahead in the pecking order as well, too. Just seems more of an exciting player. Not to be down on Vonleh or anything like that. But from what I saw, Kabengele is probably ahead of him at the moment. And I don't see him relinquishing that spot unless, touch wood, we have another injury, which is not impossible. But based on today's evidence, I would be leaning to Kabengele.
Yeah, look, if we do the backup big power rankings after the first preseason game, Kabengele has definitely shot past Vonleh. I thought Vonleh was atrocious in his minutes. Like, he can't. Yeah,
okay.
The rebound.
Right, so I'm not crazy then. Yeah.
No. I thought he was terrible.
Yeah.
Like, isn't this whole thing? I thought, like, I've seen people posting his rebound percentage stats on Twitter and stuff, and like that's supposed to be his thing or whatever. Can't say I remember a lot of Noah Vonleh. But I thought the rebounding was super soft from him. Like when he first came on, defensively he had another moment which was bad. Kabengele was everywhere. One thing to, I think, kind of note though, Kabengele did get to go against all of the backups of the backups, especially like kind of throughout the game. Like Vonleh came in early and actually had to go against the starters that were playing. But yeah, I would like to maybe see Missoula now switch that and see if Kabengele can be the first big off the bench in the next one. Kabengele is exactly, you said it, Spoons, like you want your backup big to just be full of energy, getting rebounds. And he seems to, and like he has that element that Rob gives you that we don't have right now, like really good at catching lobs, and everybody's looking for him. And I think that like if he can just do that and provide all that energy, he hit a 3 today. Not sure how many of those we actually want him taking.
Didn't miss a shot today, I don't think.
No, he did not.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jake, that's exactly what I'm thinking, right? If you're looking for someone who can at least give you like a bad facsimile of Rob Williams, that guy is Kabengele. Vonleh, like he was thought of as this big athlete coming out of college, and he just does not seem like that guy to me. And then you see Kabengele out there like catching lobs, flying around, doing some dumb stuff on defense because maybe he's trying a little bit too hard, but that's okay. Like that comes with experience, that comes with playing. And look, if he shot really well in summer league too, maybe that's not real, but maybe it is. Like, I think that's interesting. So I definitely am. I have made my peace with Aaron Nesmith no longer being on this team, right? I'm ready to accept a new player into my heart, and that is going to be Kabengele. I can tell you that right now because I love what he brings.
Yeah. He's got that cult vibe about him already, I think.
Yeah.
People are excited when he gets
100%. 100%. And like the summer league stuff, the nephew of Dikembe, his nephew, right? Of Dikembe Mutombo.
I think so.
Is he?
And yeah.
Cool.
So, like
Even better.
He definitely has that lore element. I can just imagine us playing trivia in a couple of years. Like, who is the 10 years? Who is the backup center who was the nephew of Dikembe Mutombo? It's going to be Kabengele. And I think what was I going to say? Completely forgot. But we don't have Cornets. We don't have Cornet right now, and obviously don't have Blake Griffin, who we'll get to later as well. But yeah, it's definitely going to be something that we're going to have to monitor as we keep going through the backup big thing. Anything else from the backup big point of view before we move on?
Yeah, real quick on Cornet. Has Cornet become overrated without doing anything? All I keep hearing is how he's so much better than you think he is. He's so much better than you think he is. Like, is he?
Even Scal was saying it, Jackson.
Yeah, I mean,
he opened the game.
I'm all for like the positivity, and like I've seen flashes definitely, but like he needs to get so much more like imposing or skillful. And if he's found it, sweet. I'll happily look like a very silly person in 3-4 months' time. But I don't know. I just the vibes for Cornet are just like so high now. I just don't understand where they came from.
Yeah. So I think earlier it was actually agreed with that he was underrated. I do think that it was like, Luke Cornet bounced around, and I was like, look, he's 7 foot tall. He's kind of skilled. He seems to be in the right places. So now it's like, it's fine. Rob's out for 3 months. We've got Cornet.
Yeah.
It's like,
we got Luke.
Kind of.
It reminds me of Romeo of Langford to some degrry.
Yeah.
When Langford gets back, it's going to be great. It's like he's played like 4 games.
Yes.
Hasn't looked that great.
Yes.
But again,
Yes.
I hope I'm wrong because I would love nothing more than the success story of this year to be Luke Cornet being the viable backup pick, the number 1 backup pick.
That's right, Big Bird. I like to call him. I remember the thing I was going to say. I noticed in one of the interviews from training camp, Jaylen referred to as Kabengele as Fee, and just like a passing comment on how he was playing really well. 1, nickname, which is positive, means that he's part of the crew, and 2, Jaylen kind of went out of his way to mention that he'd been playing well. So I think that's just little breadcrumbs to pick up, and hopefully that leads to more things.
Yeah, Jake, real quick. Actually, Tatum had a very similar quote where he made fun of Grant, but in that quote, he was like, Luke, he's been here. Kabengele, he's athletic. He gets in the air. He can shoot. Like, it was almost kind of effusive for Kabengele, and he was like, Cornet is a human that's living.
I like
and Grant's short. But it's
Tatum
these guys
loves that.
Yeah.
I love how much Tatum likes calling Grant short. And I swear, every chance he gets, he's like, I'm way taller than Grant. Like, it's awesome. All right. Moving on to, I was interested to see what the starting lineup was going to be. I feel like we kind of knew what it was going to be. Brogdon coming off the bench. But what did you guys think of the Smart, Derek, Jaylen, Jayson, Al starting lineup?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for the most part. I couldn't help but think that whenever we started talking about starting lineups, I immediately would just flip back to what's the closing lineup going to be? And I think you start with Derek White, but I think you definitely finish with Brogdon. So I mean, defensively, I like it. Versatility, switchability. It's got all of the hallmarks that we sort of look for. With the team, particularly last year. But I think that goes up a level with Brogdon in place of White. But as far as starting goes, it seems like a sound option to me, at least until Time Lord gets back.
Yeah, one thing I really like about Derek White with the starters is the ball sticks with that starting lineup sometimes. It got less of a problem later on in the season. And Brogdon, the ball can get a little sticky with him too. He's kind of like Tatum in that way, where he's good enough that it doesn't matter. But Derek White, the ball, that dude is like, it's hot potato.
Dude,
him and Rob, it's just like boop, 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 balls backing around. And so I like kind of setting the tone early with the ball movement with Derek White out there. If Rob's not going to play, you kind of replace like for like with the ball movement. And then Derek White, he's going to absolutely fucking bring it on the defensive end nonstop. and he's not going to have the offensive load that Brogdon is, because Brogdon's going to be expected to like play make and be a primary facilitator at times. We're never going to expect Derek White to do that. So he's going to have all that energy on defense. So I actually really like that we're going with Derek White starting, at least in this first game. I wonder if Mazzulla will switch it up. Dude, we have very similar cats, Jackson. Gray with the white on the belly, so no big deal. But
and total photo bombers.
Yeah, exactly. So I liked seeing White out there with them, and I don't know, Jake, did you think he looked more comfortable in this game than he did previously, or what?
Big time. Yeah, I love that point. Both of those points. One, about the stickiness. I love how quick he makes his decisions. Like, he is so clearly from the school of Popovich. Like that 0.5 seconds, school of thought, catch, pass, shoot. He is off races. And then defensively as well, as you said, he brings it. And I think that's something that we saw a little bit in the first half of the year last year, and maybe even the last couple of years, was some slow starts from the Celtics. And Derek White gets the pace moving, pushes it up the court, brings the defense intensity, gets you a turnover, gets you a charge, anything. And like Marcus always starts like that too, but sometimes, Jaylen and Jayson might just kind of find their way into the game. Having another guy like that that's just like ready to go from the jump, like there's nothing better, especially with the way that this team has the ability to snowball on other teams. If you get out to quick starts on other teams, and we saw it so much in like January, February, March, like all of a sudden it was like 18-2 against just that many teams. So when you get up to quick starts, I think when you're replacing Rob, you're not going to replace that defensive presence in the middle, but Derek does a pretty good job of filling that. You mentioned Brogdon and how we're all pretty comfortable with him in that 6-man role. I think it was a bit of a mixed bag from what we saw from Brogdon today, but Jackson, I know you locked into that second quarter, and which was kind of Brogdon time. What do you think of him?
Yeah, the start of the second quarter, and pretty much throughout the second quarter, it appeared the game plan was just like, you push, get the ball, push it in transition as hard as you can, and you kick it out or you lay it in. Brogdon just had a period where he was just doing that like at will, and we were getting transition threes. I even found Hauser, I think, open for one, who just dribbled it between his legs.
Yeah, that was nice.
More. Yeah. So like, there was a very clear, like, quick intent that you could see there. So, and I think obviously coming off the bench and going up either against like the next round of guys, or playing on some guards or a team that potentially be fatigued, works a great deal. But no, I liked everything I saw from Brogdon as well. On a totally unanalytical side of things, I also appreciate the fact he doesn't have any wristbands, sleeves, legs.
Very clean.
Like that. He's like a day one like NBA 2K my player.
2K,
just nothing but just the basics.
And
there.
the
There's
name
something about that. There's something about that I dig. But no, you're right about mixed bag. I didn't think he started particularly well, but that second quarter stretch, I was like, this is what I came to see, and I'm enjoying it.
100%.
Yeah,
Spins.
He's gonna have to feel himself out into the role, I think. And that's another thing I like about starting Derek White, because it looks like Mazzulla is just saying like, you are a 6-man, Brogdon. When you get in, you're gonna be the guy. So you're gonna get the ball, you're gonna do your thing, and that allows him to just be at his best, because he is. I mean, him going against bench guards is like a cheat code, man. Like, he was saucing people. It's in the second half too, especially once they got into the deeper benches.
Yeah,
he is really, really talented getting to the rim and finding people. Like, it's just such a luxury to have a guy who can be like a legitimate primary ball handler on a not bad team coming off the bench for you.
That second quarter, when there was no Jaylen, no Jayson, I don't think there was Marcus on the court either. He was purely like, you're going to run the show. Yeah, Hauser was out there. You hit him for at least 1 3, maybe even 2. The fact that he can be your guy, one, I'm stoked that they're keeping him 6-man, because I've already placed my Malcolm Brogdon to win 6-man of the year bet. I think that's like
wise.
At 13-1 is just juicy as. So that's beautiful. And yeah, like, I think early, and I think this is totally fine, he was pretty confused with the switching defense and like the actual speed of...
Definitely.
a preseason NBA game. And like switching in my head sounds like an easier defense, but like we saw it with the Celtics to start the season last year. There was so many blown coverages like in the first month of the season, and it just doesn't look like it's something that maybe he's as comfortable with, which I'm not worried in the slightest that he'll pick up. And so like once he gets that together, I think he's going to be the perfect fit, as everybody's kind of been saying the entire off season. He can guard 1 through 3, and he can play off the ball. His release is very odd, and getting used to like just watching that is going to be an adjustment. But he knocked down 2 threes late. Like he can literally do it all. To have that be your third guard coming off the bench that you can close with, start with, play in 3-guard lineups. The versatility is just completely off the charts. Yeah. Any other thoughts on Brogdon? Yeah, dude.
He's big. You know what I mean? Like, and like to the switching stuff, the Celtics switch like 85% of the time, but identifying that 15% of the time when you're not supposed to switch is so damn hard. And like we saw Horford, I think Brogdon's first defensive possession, he blew a switch and Horford's like, get out there, man, get out there. And it's just like really depends on like where the pick's set, on what side of the floor, and like who's in the corner. I mean, it is really, really complicated. And that's why it's so goddamn effective when they do it right, because it's so fluid and so perfect. And it minimizes mismatches because of how they switch and when they switch. So he'll come along. Brogdon's a smart dude, smart player, so I'm not too worried about that. But you're right, Jake. He definitely blew a handful of switches in this game. But that's
did he actually play the end of the regular season last year, or was he out injured? Because
he was out.
So
he was.
You think this guy
injured.
Injured. This guy hasn't played for a long time. So it's not just
true.
regular preseason rust. It's like extends from that, and it's a new system with the switchability and everything like that. So
sure.
You're right. I'm not worried in the slightest, because he will learn it and he will get up to speed. It's just a matter of health with him. That's the only concern I think it's fair to have at this point.
For sure, you're trying to teach one guy how to switch as opposed to the entire team is a lot easier. Switch everything except for these specific moments that you kind of can only know by knowing how the other guys on the team play. Like, it's Dallas sticking in here. I strongly agree that this is a fantastic podcast that you've stumbled onto.
You've got such wonderful informed comments.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly right. Non-biased for sure. All right, next question. I personally have like a concern coming into the season is can Tatum get off to a good start compared to his atrocious start last year? Didn't look great to me for Tatum today. I didn't think.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah. I want to think he's just going, at the most pedestrian pace possible, and his pedestrian pace just looks like a slightly below average NBA level game. That's what I choose to believe. But historically, we've seen him just not show up until, at least the new year or something, or like pre-All-Star break, essentially. So I, just like all of you guys, hope that this is the year he quashes that and he just comes out of the gates like real hard and it's like almost like sets the MVP narrative like early, regardless of what happens like for the rest of the season. Just you get out there and you like, announce yourself for the most part. But it was probably your typical, first 10, 20 game Tatum stat line and performance today. So I'm not super confident that he's going to get off to a great start just based on history. But again, it's preseason. It's game 1 of preseason. So it wouldn't surprise me if he just was like, you know what, I think we're good here. Jaylen appears to be cooking. So I'm just going to just chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think he seemed like he was making a point to move the ball a little quicker, or at least on his drives, he seemed to be passing more often as opposed to like forcing up. Like Jake, you just had that awesome video. If you're listening to this, go check it out. It's on our YouTube, where he forces up these like wacky floaters and like bullshit, like soft ass layups. And it seemed like he was doing a little bit less of that. he took 8 threes and 11 shots. Yeah. So to me, that seems like this is like Tatum saying, I'm not going to get hurt. You know what I mean? I'm just going to launch up some shots. But every time he went to the rim, it seemed like he either got all the way to the rim and laid it up, or if he didn't, he was passing it out, which I'm fine with. That's what we want from him, right? Like if he's not going to get all the way there, just kick it out. Somebody's going to be open. So, not a great game for Tatum. Not worried, but I also don't think he's going to probably come out gangbusters because he just never does, man. He just never.
Yeah. I had some higher hopes just because he hit every shot he took in that like first quarter of the Pro-Am with LeBron and Chet. I was like, oh, maybe he's just going to hit every shot. And so like the taking the 8 threes thing, because he knows, I swear I say this sometimes, because he knows he's such a good shooter and he's like missing these open ones. He's like, I know I can make all of these shots. I need to knock him down. And then I'd have to check, but like he knocked 2 of the 8 is from 3. I swear 2 of them kind of came close together and later in the game because the ones previous were like there was an in and out. And Tatum, he just needs to find his range in the field more so than other players, it feels like, after taking a break. So hopefully, the good thing is our expectations for his early season are quite low and we're kind of ready for it.
Right.
And at least all the other parts of the team and the defense and the moving of the ball, all that stuff will probably not because all of that stuff was happening in a negative way to start the year last year. It led to some really poor results. If that's like kind of the only thing that's happening with the incredible defense and the high level ball movement, it won't be as big of a deal, I don't think. But yeah, and I thought he played well off the ball. He had like 2 really nice cuts, one that led to a Marcus 3. I think he finished another one. And that just seemed to be a focus of not just Tatum, but the team in general, which is, I think, a really good sign, which is, led to a lot of turnovers, which we might get to in a little bit, but at least it's coming off trying to fit the ball into some tight windows by passing. The other J, you mentioned Jackson. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Thick J.
Thick J, athletic J. Like, this guy looks bigger, faster, stronger, all of the above. Those underwater workouts with dumbbells, I got to get in the pool. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, he's...
Pool workouts are no joke, man. Everyone wants to think of old ladies. I'm like, this would be easy. No. Sweating in the water. It's weird. So yeah. He's mastered that.
It does make sense why those old ladies are so athletic. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, right. No, we just talked about how Tatum historically just doesn't start well. Well, historically, Jaylen Brown has just been better every single year he's played. And it's almost like pretty apparent like from the get-go. I think the year he signed the extension, we played the Sixers, and he had 8 points, and everyone was like, whoa, this is what a waste of money. And then he just proceeded to just like go on an absolute tear after that. And so, yeah, and the opening game of last season, the loss against the Knicks, he was just hitting some absolute bullshit threes and just everything really. So again, caveat it with the first game of the preseason, et cetera, but like, it just looks like he's just continuing on that trajectory, man. He just keeps going higher and higher. And, he probably wants that all-star. He probably wants that all-NBA just to get that money that he so clearly deserves. So man, I everything I saw from Jaylen this morning just says to me he's just going to continue that improvement that he's been on.
Yeah, and his first step is so incredibly quick, and it has been since day one. And as he adds strength and weight, it's not slowed down. And that's actually, I think, just goes to how incredible of an athlete he is. So he had that one drive, I think it was in the first quarter, where LaMelo bounced.
LaMelo, dude.
Yeah. And he just dunked it all over him. And if he's going to add even more strength than he already has, because he's already incredibly difficult to stop when he gets ahead of steam. I don't even care if he doesn't add playmaking to his game, because with the addition of Derek White, Marcus Smart, Rob when he's healthy, and Tatum clearly is really developing in that facet, he doesn't even really need it. We almost need a guy who's just be an elite finisher. That's all you need to do. Like, go out there and get high 20s on super efficiency. And like, we don't even care if you're playmaking, because especially now with Brogdon, like the downside last year was when Tatum came off, we didn't have kind of that offensive hub. Well, now with Brogdon, we do. So we don't need Jaylen to kind of be that guy, and he's never been that guy. I don't think he'll ever be that guy. So if he's just been like, all right, I'm just going to turn myself into like this absolute destructive finisher at the rim, even more so than he already was, man, I'm excited. He looks so fucking good. That one fall away he had where he like cut low and then cut back out, got the pass, and man, it was so slick, so smooth. He's so goddamn good. He had
the fuck yeah, dude. Oh my! Another bet I wish I could find is like, how do I bet on Jaylen to make All NBA? Like I think he's on an absolute mission. And I think, Jackson, you said it, he comes in every year better and better and better. And last year, I think, was maybe one of the years where he didn't take a really noticeable jump. But I think because of the wrist surgery in the offseason, it really limited how much work he was able to put in the offseason. And so this year, he was healthy coming off the finals, plus the added motivation of the Durant rumors, the losing the finals, the fact that he just has a chip on his shoulder for what reason. But he's clearly worked on absolutely everything. And even in his interviews, he was saying, I'm more explosive. I'm the healthiest I've ever been, best shape of my life. And we hear that from everyone every year. But like, you can just see it. And
he was our best player in the finals too. If everyone else was like near or closer to his level, we'd have a banner 18 by now. So he's just continuing as he means to go about it, which is good news.
Perfect. I don't even want him to pass the ball really ever, unless it's an easy pass. Like, I want him either shooting or driving. Like, he's so good at both of those things. And then as he gets better, he's going to get more and more gravity, and the passes just get easier and easier. Man, the off season gets crazy. Other teams make moves, but the Celtics just have Jaylen and Jayson, and they keep getting better and better. It's kind of unfair, and I don't take it for granted because it's really incredible. Someone else who's truly incredible and a fan favorite of the podcast is House Money, baby.
Baby.
House Money, baby. Spoonie, I think this is your wheelhouse, mate. Go for it.
All right, so we've got a Reddit comment here, right? So Hauser, 4 for 4 from 3. Obviously, he's making threes. He had that one nice lob to Kabengele. But let's talk about something Sam Hauser's not known for. So we got a Reddit comment from They're Hiding, which is kind of creepy. This is one game against the Hornets, but Hauser really isn't as bad defensively as people were saying. And again, it's one game against the Hornets. I've done a lot of research on Sam Hauser, like divorce level.
Yes, you have.
Sam Hauser. And if he's allowed to, if he can match up with a bigger wing like a PJ Washington in this type of game, he's really not too bad, man. Like, he's not going to move his feet against a point guard, but he's smart. He'll get his body in front of somebody. He'll contest the shot. And like, look, if you finish over him, you finish over him. And that's okay. I mean, I don't think he actually played in the competitive portion of this game too. I think he was in the first or second quarter early. And he didn't look out of place defensively at all to me. I don't know about you, Jackson, if you caught the House Money fever.
The defense was something I wasn't paying particular attention to, but that run at the start of the second quarter, I think the squad that was in it was Brogdon, it was Williams, Hauser was a part of it, was the point I was making, and he just did not look out of place, and that's when it really started to get away. So, if his shot is falling, that's brilliant. If he can add some defense to that as well, then holy shit, like that's like an almost a better option than having a Dino Gallinari in there, because if he can show a quicker lateral movement and can hold up the defensive end, then all you got to do is replace the shooting, and based on today's evidence, he can do that. So man, I'm gonna use all the house money, man. Whatever we're doing, just give it to me all.
Let's put it all on green. Put it all on green. He had a few like pretty solid. He had 2 possessions where he got left on alone on an island against Terry Rozier, and one he forced like a really tough layup which he missed. The other one he got cooked. But like Terry cooks a lot of people. Like he's
for sure.
Really good offensive player. I feel like, and if you haven't read Spoonie's piece on Sam Hauser, is that's out, right? That's on the yeah.
Oh yeah, it's out. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the noir
one of the
thriller.
best. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. It's incredible. But part of it was like we don't really know the answer to a lot of the questions about Hauser. Like even like we've seen him in bits and pieces. Like the fact that we don't really still know if he's good or bad at defense is kind of funny. Like even in summer league, he kind of like tweaked his ankle. He didn't get that many minutes. So today felt like we're starting to get answers to some of those questions.
Housewarming party.
Oh no! I'll go one step further, Jake. The fact that we don't know whether he's bad at defense probably means he's not like unplayable bad, right? Because like, remember James Young? When he would get out there and try to play defense, he would like click his ankles together and like fall down. And it was so obvious he was unplayably bad at defense. And Hauser, look, do I think he's going to be locking up fucking LeBron or something in the playoffs? Hell no. But he might be good enough to play 15 minutes a night on defense, and that's really all you need from him. That's fine. So I think to your point, Jake, like the fact that we just don't really know yet is probably a good sign.
I like that. That's a good galaxy brain theory right there. If we don't know that you suck, surely you can't suck.
Yeah. If you suck, we would have known it. We would have known it by now.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like he's 6'9", hard can it be to defend NBA athletes when you're that tall, with long arms, and that's kind of the idea with this team is that like there's going to be 4 good defenders on the court at all time, and so all you have to do is kind of be in the right spot, and the rest should kind of take care of itself. Now, while it's amazing that he's able to maybe play a little bit of defense, why he's in the NBA is his ability to just be an absolute flamethrower. Today, 4 from 4, and something that stood out to me from the Celtics was the offensive firepower. Like the end of the bench, or the bench, like Grant, Hauser, Pritchard, Brogdon, all like elite shooters. It's just once the ball gets moving and the pace gets pushed, like these leads that Tatum and Jaylen start to like create, and then they come off, and then there's just this barrage. Like Pritchard touches the ball off an offensive rebound and just nets a 27-footer without barely touching anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, hasn't played an NBA minute in that many months and just 27-footer, no problem. Yeah, and I think that like we saw the defense become elite last year, and toward the end of the year they finished the league the season as like a top 5 or 6 offense. If they're able to kind of start like that and just destroy people with these 3-pointers coming off the bench, it can get kind of dangerous.
Yeah. The preseason for me is about your stars not getting injured and the bench guys showing out. If Tatum, Brown, if all that starting 5 today just stunk the place out and had 4 field goals between them, I'd be like, yeah, that sucks, but I know what they're about. I know what they can do. We've seen it too many times, so that that's an anomaly. Whereas if the bench guys all sucked, then you start thinking to yourself, here's your chance to sort of stake your claim, and you haven't done it. So what's up with that? So to see pretty much everyone off the bench contribute, in terms of shooting, in terms of just contributions, really, like it was all positive. So I like that there's going to be a bit of competitiveness to sort of round out that bench and to get some minutes there. And to be fair, what did we have? How many threes did we hit? I remember the Charlotte only had
22, 23?
22 threes to 5 for Charlotte. So you can you can play as bad as you want, but if that's the 3-point stat line, then I'm always confident that team is going to win. So yeah, if we can just keep shooting like that, then obviously we're going to be fine. But it was really reassuring to see the guys you wouldn't necessarily expect to shoot as well really contribute to that stat.
Yeah, and Godzilla, go D-Zilla in the chat, jumped on the point I was about to make before I could make it. So I thought, Grant Williams I thought he was good, maybe not great, but he looked so damn decisive when there was a rotating defense and he got the kick. He had like 4 or 5 like strong takes where he made a dribble move, had a crossover. He had that lob to Kabengele that was absolutely beautiful. He had a couple takes where it's like, who is that man? Is that Grant Williams? and I think that's like there goes that man, Grant. And I think that's the most important thing he can add to his game. Like, he already has a shot, right? So teams are going to crash on him so hard that if he can play make or get to the rim out of that, he's going to be so goddamn bad. We should sign him tomorrow. He's going to be worth twice as much by the end of this season if this is real. I just thought he looked so confident with the ball in his hands today, and that is, something you hope your guys can add, like your role players can add, especially a guy like Grant who's such a good shooter. And lots of guys just don't do it. Like PJ Tucker, for all his positives, never added that to his game. Duncan Robinson does not have that in his game. And I'm trying to think of a non-Heat player, but I hate them so much. I just want to keep dragging on the Heat players.
Well, like another Robert Covington
doesn't have that. Covington doesn't have that as part of his game, and that's why they're so limited. You know what I mean? You can just kind of stick your worst defender on him in the corner, and you're fine. Like Grant can post you up, and now if he has some handle and some wiggle with the ball, like he is going to be our fourth best player in a very fast time. And I thought that was really encouraging from him today.
Yeah, you think this year we're going to see the real succession plan of Al Horford stepping down and Grant Williams getting in there. That's the narrative I'm sure most fans would like to see happen. But based on today's evidence, he's definitely looks like he's gone up a level. He's probably got that contract year mentality, even though he wants that money and he's going to like bust his ass to get it. And I think if everything goes well, you're seeing him not necessarily start over Horford this year, but you see the succession sort of,
no doubt.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Rob's the center for the future. Grant's the 4.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if Grant had just never gotten better from where he ended the playoffs last year, he's going to make $150 million as an NBA player. Can guard 1 through 5 and is a knockdown shooter. Like, that's a playoff guy for a decade to come. That was the question for the offseason I think most fans had for him, is can he form a closeout offense? And today, I mean, he had that, the spin move, the lob, and I'm not a college basketball expert, but like that coming into the NBA, that was kind of what Grant did coming out of college. A lot of like post-game stuff, playmaking out of the post, doing a little bit more with the ball in his hands. The fact that he's showing that already in game 1 is a really big deal. Spoony, because you're across the college basketball a bit more. At Tennessee, right? Like Grant was a bit more of a hub kind of thing.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. I went back and checked Kevin O'Connor's draft guide from Grant's year. And one of the big things that he talked about why he liked Grant Williams so much had nothing to do with his shooting. It was his passing and playmaking. And we've not really seen that from Grant Williams, but it's in there somewhere, right? Like he reads the game defensively so well. You got to think he's got to be able to read it on the offensive end. It probably just moves a little too quick for him. And when you don't have the handle, like we see it with Jaylen, like Jaylen can read the game. He just doesn't really have the ball handling to make the play at the right time. And if Grant can add that, I think he's got the instincts to be a really plus passer and plus playmaker for a role player. He's not going to be our offensive hub or anything like that, but like for a role player, he gets 1.5 assists, 2 assists a game. That would be absurd. That would be such a big evolution to his game. So it's just, I mean, Jackson, you were saying it. If he takes over for Horford, Smart's the oldest guy in this starting lineup. And then it's Jaylen Brown. I mean, that's fucking nutty, man. That's nutty.
Mental, yeah. Well,
Crazy.
the amount of playmakers we've got around him this year, like I expect that to go up organically. But if he's got that skill set that's as yet untapped from college, then I think we'll see that liberated a bit more this year.
For sure, yeah.
It's like the whole roster is pretty much Jaylen the only one who's not got like that high level passing game, like all the way down, or like that kind of natural feel. Like even like Hauser's cuts all like with such great feel. Derek White, elite. Marcus, like everyone's like such a good passer.
I think, I would say Brogdon maybe doesn't quite. He's just so talented getting to the rim that he makes passes easy for himself. But I'm not sure he's kind of like a high level reader of the game. Like Derek White is not nearly as talented as Malcolm Brogdon, but he's almost as good because he reads the game so damn well. But I mean, I'm picking nits. I'm just trying to get like, I'm just trying.
That's fair. He can.
Play
If we can do we can power rank the passing skill of the Celtics team, and Brogdon can be towards the bottom. That's fine. But that's a good problem to have if he's like, if he's further down the list. Yeah, Godzilla, really good point here. Like the fact that Grant went from Celtics fans wanting to send him to Shanghai to like now we're worried that he's going to be making like $25 million a year if we don't sign him soon. Like,
absurd.
Just goes to show you like. Yeah, like the progression of young players is not linear, as we hear over and over again. Neesmith's coming into like my brain right now.
He's gonna light it up for Indy. Yeah. He's gonna light it up.
One lineup that we saw today that I don't think we've seen in the past was just like the super duper small lineup where it was. Yeah, I think Tatum was the tallest player. I think Smart was playing this was center, which I just can only imagine how much he was enjoying. I don't know, what do we think about that option? Obviously, like the big man situation, they're just trying to see what works.
That reeked to me of just like, this is the preseason, this is the big man situation.
Yeah, of course.
Let's just see what it looks like when we really try and play like the 16 Warriors, with your antagonizing, instigating defensive menace at the center of it in the five, and then just everyone else just switches around and flies about. So I don't know if we'll see it again throughout the season, but I mean it's certainly a fun lineup. And if you can, and I think I'm pretty sure he got an offensive rebound like against Plumlee as well too. So he definitely can get in there and can get his nose in and get those rebounds. So I don't know, maybe it's not ridiculous, but I just don't see it being sustainable or particularly reliable, for long stretches.
You can't find weird shit that works without trying weird shit. You know what I mean? Like Mark Jackson never played Draymond at center. He just didn't do it. He had Bogut. He just was too rigid.
Festus Ezeli.
Exactly. Yeah, Festus fucking Ezeli. And when you try weird shit, 90% of the time it's going to fail. And then 10% of the time, you're going to find something that works. So if defensively, you've got Marcus Smart guarding a center, and offensively, Jayson Tatum's your center, like, who knows? Maybe it can work. Yep. Probably not, but it's preseason game 1. I would say try it in the regular season for at least a couple weeks. Like, why the hell not? That's what I want out of my head coach. So I actually think it's a really positive sign for Missoula that he's willing to do. Like Brad Stevens used to experiment. People would get so mad at Brad for his rotations in the first part of the year because he would be like, I'll throw David Lee out there and and Amir Johnson and Evan Turner. And it's like, no one can shoot, Brad. What are you doing? It's like, I don't know. Why not? Well, like it probably won't work, but let's try it. So
David Lee, that's such
I was into it. One of my first Reddit posts, Jackson, is me railing against Brad for playing David Lee. So,
I want to have a timestamp of how your opinions change over time. So no, it's a positive.
So I mean, why the hell?
We're all growing. Yeah,
exactly.
I think it's great. Like, look, I will never forget the image of Marcus Smart blocking Bam Adebayo at the rim, right when he was trying to dunk on him. Like, the kinds of guys that can play up and be versatile and do all kinds of things. 100% think it's worth trying. I don't think Grant was out there during that stretch, so it might make more sense to put him out there in a lineup like that. Yeah, but I like what I'm seeing from Joe. Try it out. We'll kind of get towards the end here. Man, this team's so deep that like JD Davidson and the Summer League guys barely get in the court on even a preseason game. Spoons did an awesome video on JD Davidson earlier in the year after Summer League, and he looked good again. Spoons, what do you reckon?
Tell me he doesn't look like Ish Smith.
Ooh.
Tell me he doesn't look like Ish Smith. Just super, can't shoot, but he's just so fast in the open court, knows how to pass a little bit, just beats people with his speed and causes mayhem on both ends because he's so fast. Like, this dude is Ish Smith. And Ish Smith ain't an all-star, but he's been like a 15-year NBA vet. He's about to break the record for most NBA teams he's been on. Like, some guys... Joe, our team runs so deep it puts JD's ass to sleep. That's a beautiful comment. But some guys just know how to play basketball, man. Like, and I just get the feeling from JD, the way he understands like spacing when he's running the high pick and roll. Like, he just is a baller, dude, and he's so fucking athletic. I think he's gonna be at least in the league for a while, and for the 53rd pick, that's absurd.
Yeah. If there's going to be an Ish Smith clone, I want him on the team rather than...
Yes.
Never against us.
Then we'll just lose that game. So,
please.
No, all in that respect, at least.
Yeah. Like, he knows what he's good at, and he does that. And you can't teach elite athleticism. And he has the feel for the lobs. So, like... You're able to get into the paint, and you surround him with guys like Kabengele, and when Rob gets back, like it's only so bad things can go wrong. You know? So I liked what I saw from him. Justin Jackson continues to be a guy that like you can't hate as like a 15th man, but probably getting in a little too deep into the weeds there. Any thoughts on the 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th men? There was one guy I didn't know the name of. Who was he? Number 99, Spoony.
Real quick, that was Lucas Samanich. But
okay,
speaking of deep cuts, you don't want to deep cut your ball sack when you're shaving it. So we have a word from our sponsor.
This is true.
Manscaped. Promo code CRPOD.
Smooth sack summer is slowly coming to an end, fellas, and if you haven't been scaping for the summer sun, it's not too late to sweep your sack of those pesky pubes. As summer comes to an end and we enter fall, or autumn in Australia, keep your boys clean and fresh just in time for Fresh Ball Fall. The leader in below-the-waist grooming is here to make sure your pubes feel smoother than a beach ball and smell fresher than your girl's pumpkin spice. Start the new season the right way and join over 6 million men, myself included, worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free shipping with the code CRPOD, CR as in Celtics Reddit Pod, at manscaped.com. I know for me, countless times whenever I've attempted to put in the effort to tidy up down there using non-Manscaped products, there's always been this feeling of risk, and then sometimes that has actually eventuated in some very painful experiences. But with Manscaped, the confidence factor is extremely high. The Manscaped Performance Package 4.0 has everything you need to keep your sweet sack in check. Inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear, nose, and hair trimmer, which unfortunately I'm having to use more and more as I age. I'm serious. Crop Preserver ball deodorant, which I should be using more. Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, which are extremely comfortable, and a travel bag to hold all of your goodies, all of the above. Their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer features a cutting edge, don't be alarmed by the term cutting edge, ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor, a new multi-function on-off switch that can engage a travel lock and gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. Also, did I mention the trimmer is waterproof as well? So whether you're hopping in the shower or hitting up the lake, this razor will devour even the strongest pubes. Now that your sack is smooth, lather up with Manscaped liquid formulations to get that fresh ball fall freshness. The Crop Preserver ball deodorant to stay cool in the heat. Their soothing aloe vera formula is the best in the business for below-the-waist freshness, and the clear drying formula keeps your sack looking and smelling good. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxes and the Shed Travel Bag that'll bring your comfort to another level at home and on the go. Keep yourself groomed from head to toe with their Shears 2.0, a luxury nail grooming kit. This kit includes stainless steel, nail cutters, tweezers, and grooming scissors. With the Performance Package, your balls will be ready to impress, but make sure you cover the rest with the Shears 2.0. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code CRPOD, as in Celtics Reddit Pod, at manscaped.com. That's 20% off your entire order, plus free shipping anywhere in the world with the code CRPOD at manscaped.com. Keep things smooth and fresh as we say sayonara to smooth ball summer and enter fresh ball fall.
Beautiful.
Fresh
Beautiful,
ball fall,
beautiful,
baby.
beautiful.
Jake, if
Fresh
I
ball
may,
fall. Oh, yeah.
can I
Go
step
for
in?
it.
So I think to sum up the game, I got a Reddit comment here. I think there was a lot of good, a lot of bad, not a lot of bad, a little bit of bad, a lot of good. So we got a Reddit comment here from Fortunate Fox. Please tell me this was just a preview of how fun and good we're going to be this season. 41 assists on 48 made shots. I'm fine with the turnovers because there are a lot of new pieces, but man, they are making sure the ball moves.
Yeah. You'll live with turnovers when you see that kind of return on assists to shots made. Yeah, it's part of the process, and it's working as far as I'm concerned.
41.
Yeah, that's
absurd.
Yeah.
I mean, look, one of the things that the Warriors, people have said about the Warriors, is like their weakness is like they've always been a high turnover team, but that's because they are also one of the highest ball movement teams in the league.
Yeah,
exactly. You're gonna live with it because you're
It's true of any sport as well too. Like, Kevin De Bruyne, if at Manchester City, the best passer in the earth, gives the ball away more than anyone else. It's because he tries things, and if you try things, it'll come off if you're good enough for it. So, no, it's a hallmark of a positive mentality, and I'm for it.
Yeah, and because the assists are lead, like obviously they're made baskets, but it's because they're higher percentage shots, right? Like you're generating layups, open threes. That's that's how you couldn't agree more, Ben, on that one. There we go. You'll live with the turnovers. It is something I'm keeping my eye on, just because when it does slow down in the playoffs, I guess it's the types of turnovers. It's when you're getting the live ball turnovers on drives and certain things like that from ISOs that I have PTSD from the Heat and Warriors series. But 41 assists is just so many numbers.
Wonderful.
Alrighty, to close, there is a new Celtic on the team. His name is Blake Griffin, ex All-Star. Had a moment against the Celtics in the first round of the playoffs. Him and Jaylen going back and forth. He eventually became barbecue chicken by Jaylen Brown, but he put up a good fight there. What are we thinking? Obviously, the Rob injury and Gallinari injury, there's front court issues. And how do we feel about the Blake Griffin option? Not something we spoke about at all throughout the offseason, really.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think if all goes well, you never see him on the court. That's because, the young guys that we've got, the bigs are playing well enough, and he just doesn't need to get on. Or to flip that, I suppose, we're in garbage time at the start of the fourth, and then he can get some sweet little, minutes and the odd lob here and there. But I think it's not the worst idea to bring a vet on board. I like the fact that we are now like a premier ring chasing vet destination as well too. We were linked to Carmelo, and now we've gotten Blake Griffin. We'll probably get someone else of that caliber or of that, that pedigree before the season is out. But yeah, I don't expect him to really contribute that much. I'm glad he's here. Glad he's here. Him in his prime was just like really when I was starting to get into watching the NBA, and it was like must see TV. So that's a little bit of there's a bit of a sentimentality factor for me. But beyond that, no. If he never makes the court, then I'll be just fine with that too.
First of all, shout out my guy Tom. What's up, dude? Thanks for stopping by. Second of all, Blake Griffin has been blessed by Ben. Dimension-wise, the dude is solid, says Ben Vallis. So we're good there. I tweeted this, like, Blake can kind of shoot. He can kind of defend a little bit. He could kind of rebound. And he's actually a really good passer, too, which is nice. Mm-hmm. So I'm with you, Jackson. Like, if Blake Griffin's an important part of this team, we're in a lot of fucking trouble. I'm still team Kabengele as kind of that deep center bench guy, but it can't hurt to have a veteran who knows how to play the game. It can pass and shoot a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we're just trying stuff. Again, we got Kabengele,
exactly.
There's some Cornet, there's some Blake Griffin, there's some Vonleh. It's just like, okay, someone just rise above a little bit, and having a guy that can sit at the end of the bench that's going to be a positive influence on the vibes, I think, is important. He's a funny guy, stand-up comedian, so we should get some good quotes out of him. But yeah, a guy that can do a little bit of everything. League leader in charges. So between Derek, Marcus, and Blake, true. Like this team takes a lot of charges.
Fucking annoying. We are going to be so fucking annoying. I love it. Yeah, and like he can play a little 4 or 5 or whatever. Like I think he fits and can just do a little bit of everything. He's only 33. Just get him on the Al Horford program, and he'll be back to dunking over cars in no time. Yeah. That's it. He's all-star this year, guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happens when you come into the Celtics ecosystem. You get the fountain of youth bum. But yeah, look, fellas. I mean, we did an hour on a Celtics 30-point blowout in preseason. That just goes to show how hyped we are for the season, how much the vibes are back. And we appreciate everybody stopping by in the chat today. Please give us a like, subscribe. Helps us win the everlasting battle against the algorithm. Spoonie, Jackson, pleasure. Great to do the first game of the year with you guys. Hopefully more 30-point win jackets to come.
Hell yeah.
I'll be ready. I'll be ready.
Yeah.
Damn.